Hello students, welcome to ROSE project conducted by Rayat Shikshan Samstha Satara. Myself Shubhangi Jadhav from SGM College Karad. We had started the chapter Solid State in Chemistry. This is our third lecture. In the previous lecture, we studied the unit cells, types of unit cells. In today's lecture, we will study the crystal systems and the cubic system. We will also derive the relationship between molar mass, density of substance, and unit cell age length. Okay, now see first the crystal systems. In the previous lecture, we had studied that in the unit cell, the particles are arranged in different manner to obtain four types of unit cells named as simple or primitive unit cell, body centered unit cell, face centered unit cell, and the base or end centered unit cell. Now here we have seen that these unit cells are described with the help of two kinds of parameters, that is its dimensions and the angles. Now, the crystal systems are obtained by possible combinations of lattice spacing along the three axes or edges named as A, B, C, and the angles, that is alpha, beta, and gamma among these axes. Here, a French mathematician, Brevis, has been proved that the lattice points can be arranged by 14 ways in 3 dimensions. And by arranging these lattice points, we are getting Brevis lattices. Here, thus, we obtain 14 Brevis lattices. Now, see the definition of Brevis lattices. The 14 lattices which describe the complete crystal structure are called as Brevis lattices. These 14 Brevis lattices has been divided into 7 crystal systems. Thus, all the crystal systems are associated with 14 Brevis lattices, which are also called as unit cell. Now we will study here these 7 crystal systems and 14 Brevis lattices. Now see, this picture shows you the 7 crystal systems. The first one named as cubic system. Second, that is tetragonal system. Third one named as orthorhombic system. Fourth, hexagonal system. Fifth, rhombohedral system. Sixth, monoclinic. And the seventh crystal system is named as triclinic system. You will observe here that in all these systems, the edges A, B, and C are not of same kind, while the angles are also of different magnitude. Now, with the help of these edges and angles, we can arrange the particles in 14 different manner to get 14 Brevis lattices. Now, see here the Brevis lattices. The first crystal system, that is cubic system, is of 3 types: primitive, face-centered, and body-centered. We had studied the arrangement of constituent particles in all these types of system. Okay, now in cubic system, the edges, that is A, B, and C, are of equal magnitude, while the angles alpha, beta, and gamma are of 90 degree. See here the examples: lead, mercury, silver, gold, diamond, sodium chloride, zinc sulfide are the substances whose crystals are arranged in this manner. Okay. Now see the second crystal system, that is orthorhombic. Here there are 4 different ways of arranging the constituent particles in this crystal system, and therefore here we are getting the 4 Brevis lattices named as primitive, face-centered, body-centered, and end-centered. Now, in this orthorhombic crystal system, all the edges are not of same magnitude, while all the angles are of equal magnitude and they are of 90 degree. The substances like potassium nitrite, potassium sulfate are showing their unit cells in this type. Okay. Now see the third crystal system, that is tetragonal crystal system. Here the particles are arranged by only two ways, and therefore there are two types of Brevis lattices. First one named as primitive and the second one that is body centered. In this tetragonal crystal system, two edges are of equal magnitude, but the third one is different. That is, here A is equal to B, not equal to C, while all the angles are of 90 degree. The substances such as titanium oxide and stannous oxide are showing this type of crystal system. See the fourth crystal system, that is monoclinic. Okay, here again there are two types of Brevis lattices named as primitive and end-centered. Here A is not equal to B, not equal to C, but the angles alpha and gamma are of 90 degree, while the angle beta is not of 90 degree. Here calcium sulfate dihydrate is showing the monoclinic crystal system. The triclinic crystal system shows only one type of arrangement of constituent particles, and it is named as primitive triclinic system. Here in triclinic system, all the edges and angles are not of equal magnitude. Therefore, A is not equal to B, not equal to C, while alpha is not equal to beta, not equal to gamma, and all they are not equal to 90 degree. Potassium dichromate and calcium sulfate pentahydrate are showing this triclinic system. Okay, now see the sixth type, that is hexagonal system. Again, there is only one type of this system named as primitive or simple hexagonal system. Here A is equal to B, not equal to C, but the angles alpha is equal to beta is equal to 90 degree, and the third angle gamma is equal to 120 degree. See the examples: magnesium, silica, zinc, cadmium are showing the hexagonal crystal system. Rhombohedral crystal system is again of only one type named as primitive crystal system. Here the edges A is equal to B equal to C, and the angles alpha is equal to gamma, that is equal to 90 degree, but the angle beta is not equal to 90 degree. Arsenic, antimony, bismuth, calcium carbonate are showing such type of crystal system. Thus, you will observe that all the crystal systems are divided into 14 Brevis lattices. See the three types for cubic system, four types for orthorhombic system, two for tetragonal, two for monoclinic, and one for each of the triclinic, hexagonal, and rhombohedral system. By counting here, you will get total 14 Brevis lattices. Now, here we have to study the number of constituent particles in the cubic unit cell or cubic system. We know that the cubic unit cells are of only three types named as simple or primitive unit cell, cubic unit cell, body centered cubic unit cell, and the face centered cubic unit cell. Here, observe the arrangement of constituent particles in all these types of unit cell. In the simple cubic unit cell, you will observe that particles are present only at 8 corners, while in body centered cubic unit cell, Along with corner particles, one particle is present within the body of the cube, while in face-centered cubic unit cell, the particles are present at the centers of six faces along with the corner particles. Now, though the number of particles here you observe as 8 in simple or primitive cubic unit cell, 9 in body centered cubic unit cell, and 14 in face centered cubic unit cell. Actual number of particles are not as like this. Here we will count the number of particles which are giving their contribution to that single unit cell with the help of this video clip. Now see here, the simple or primitive cubic unit cell. We know the arrangement of constituent particles in this unit cell. The particles are present only at the 8 corners, and you will observe here that all the corner particles are touching with each other. For our understand, for our convenience, we are connecting the centers of these points, but actually the particles are touching to each other. Okay, here though such is the case, each corner particle do not gives its whole contribution to the unit cell. Actually, when we stack the unit cells together, you will observe that each corner particle is surrounded by the 7 other unit cells. Thus, if you try to draw the unit cell with the help of these center points, here you will observe that only 1/8 portion of that corner particle gives its contribution to that particular unit cell. Here actually the corner particle is getting surrounded by 8 unit cell, but that particle gives only its 1/8 portion to a single unit cell. Thus here there are 8 corner particles, and hence you can calculate the contribution of all these corner particles in the unit cell by a simple manner. The contribution of each particle at the corner is only 1 divided by 8, and there are 8 corner particles, and therefore the number of particles or atoms in a unit cell can be written as 1 divided by 8 into 8, that is equal to 1. Now you observe here, for our convenience, we are connecting these lines, but the corner particles are touching with each other. If you see the front face of this unit cell, you will observe that each corner particle gives its 1/8 contribution to that unit cell, and therefore the number of atoms in a simple cubic unit cell is equal to 8 corner atoms multiplied by 1 divided by 8 atom per unit cell. Here you will get the answer as 1. Thus actually in the simple or primitive cubic unit cell, the number of atoms are 1 and not the 8. Okay. In the same manner, now we will calculate the number of atoms in body-centered cubic unit cell. Okay. Now in body-centered cubic unit cell, here 8 particles are present at 8 corners, while the one of the particle is present within the body of that cubic unit cell. It is present at the center of the body of that unit cell. Here again each corner particle will give its only 1/8 contribution to that unit cell, while the particle which is present within the body of the cube will not surrounded by any other unit cells. Okay, and hence it will give its whole contribution to that unit cell. You will observe here that the corner particles are not touching with each other, but they touch to the sphere which is present within the center of the body of this cube. Okay, and therefore we can easily calculate the number of atoms or particles in this unit cell by using the formula 1 divided by 8 into number of particles at the corners plus the 1 into number of particles at the center of body of that cube. Here only one particle is present at the center of the body of the cube, and 8 particles are present at 8 corners, and they are giving their only 1/8 contribution to that unit cell. And hence, see the formula to calculate the number of atoms or particles in the unit cell. The formula will be number of atoms in a body centered, that is BCC cubic unit cell, is equal to 1 upon 8 into 8 plus 1, that is equal to 2. Okay. Thus only 2 particles will be present in body centered cubic unit cell. Now see the face-centered cubic unit cell. Here 8 corner particles are present in this unit cell, while 6 particles are present at the centers of 6 faces. Here each particle at the center of face is surrounded by the 2 unit cells. So here that face centered particle will give its only half contribution to that unit cell, and therefore the number of atoms present in this unit cell will be calculated by counting the number of atoms present at 8 corners and the number of atoms present at 6 faces. So here 8 corner atoms multiplied by 1 upon 8 atom per unit cell will be equal to 1, while 6 faces into 1 upon 2 atoms per unit cell will be equal to 3. Thus 1 plus 3 gives us the number 4. In this manner, in face-centered cubic unit cell, the actual number of atoms or particles are 4. Okay. Now, here with the help of this table, you can easily calculate the number of particles per unit cell. See here, for that purpose, you have to determine the contribution of atom per unit cell, and by adding the contribution of each atom present at the corners, face center or body center, you can easily calculate the number of constituent particles in the unit cell. See, in simple cubic unit cell, the number of corner atoms are 8. Their contribution is 1 upon 8. Therefore, 8 multiplied by 1 upon 8 is equal to 1. We know that there is no any particle present at the face center or body center in a simple cubic unit cell, and hence the total number of particles per unit cell is 1. See the face centered cubic unit cell. Again there are 8 corner particles, therefore they will give only one number of particle at the corner, while 6 particles are present at the centers of 6 faces, and their contribution to that unit cell is only half. Therefore you are getting here 3 particles at face center. Thus the total number of constituent particles are 1 plus 3, that is equal to 4. Now in body-centered unit cell, again 8 corner particles are present. Each is giving its 1/8 contribution. Therefore, number of particles at 8 corners are 1, while there is no any particle at the face center, but only one particle is present within the body, and its contribution is 1. And therefore, the number of particles at body center are 1. Thus, the total number of constituent particles in body center cubic unit cell is 2. Now I am giving you one more type of unit cell named as end-centered or base-centered unit cell. Here in this unit cell, we know that along with corner particles, two particles are present at the center of faces of opposite faces. There are only two opposite faces, and therefore the corner particles will give only one number of particles, while the particles are at the center of two opposite faces will be calculated by the formula 2 into their contribution, which is 1/2, that is equal to 1. Thus 1 plus 1 will give you the number 2. In this manner, you can easily calculate the number of particles per unit cell. You have to remember well these number of particles in different kinds of unit cell. Now we will derive the relationship between molar mass, density of substance, and unit cell age length. Okay. Now consider the cubic unit cell. Here, if the age length of cubic unit cell is denoted by symbol A, then we can easily calculate the volume of the unit cell, that is A cube. We know that for the cubic unit cell, all the ages are of same magnitude, means length, breadth and height of that unit cell will be A, and therefore the volume of unit cell will be equal to length into breadth into height, that is A cube. Now suppose mass of one particle in the unit cell is m, then the number of particles per unit cell, if they are denoted by n, then the mass of unit cell will be equal to mass of single particle into number of particles per unit cell, that is m into n. Okay, suppose this is equation number 1. Now here we have to derive the relationship between density and molar mass of that substance, and we know the formula for density. Here density of any substance is equal to mass of that substance divided by volume of the substance. This density of substance is same as that of the density of unit cell, and therefore the density of unit cell will be given as mass of unit cell divided by volume of unit cell. Here we determine the mass of unit cell in equation number 1, and also we determine the volume of unit cell, and therefore we can write this density, that is rho is equal to m into n divided by A cube. Now let this is equation number 2. Now we will determine the molar mass of the substance, and it is given by the formula mass of one particle into number of particles per mole. We know the definition of molar mass. Molar mass of any substance is the mass of 1 mole of the particles in that substance, and we know that 1 mole of any substance possesses Avogadro's number of particles. Therefore, the molar mass of the substance will be equal to mass of one particle into number of particles per mole, that is Avogadro's number of particles. Thus, here we can write m is equal to small m into Na. Okay. Here If we rearrange this equation, you will obtain mass of single particle is equal to molar mass divided by Avogadro's number. Now, suppose this is equation number 3. Now, from equation number 2 and equation number 3, we can write here density rho is equal to mass, which is given as molar mass divided by Avogadro's number into n divided by a cube. That is, here we obtain the relation rho is equal to m into n divided by a cube into Na. Here rho is the density of substance, m is the molar mass of substance, n is the number of particles per unit cell, a is the age length of that cubic unit cell, and Na is the Avogadro's number. You know its value as 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. Now here, out of these 5 parameters, if you know the values of any 4 parameters, then you can easily calculate the value of 5th parameter. Okay. Now I hope you may have understood all the part in this lecture. Thank you.